Yeah.
Open it up for questions from you guys.
Coach kind of laid out why he was attracted to you for this job. Why were you attracted to Nebraska?
Yeah, Nebraska, I think, speaks for itself. The Big Ten, the opportunity. First off, let me say that, my family and I were really, really comfortable at South Alabama. Richie Riley, who I worked for the past 4 years, is one of my best friends. Unbelievable coach, unbelievable person. Was treated my family as good as I've been around. So we were comfortable, and it was going to be hard for me to leave. But just Nebraska, the Big Ten. Obviously, you see they get 9 teams in the NCAA tournament. You're coming from a place in a mid-major level where it's a one-bid league, and you got 14 teams in the Sun Belt. It's hard. Every night is tough. So the opportunity to be at a place like Nebraska where you have a national brand, an unbelievable fan base, and then to work alongside someone like Fred Hoiberg it was an opportunity. I've been hoping for, looking for, and excited about.
Could you maybe sense there was a connection there when you came up, presented last year, that this may be something that could down the road eventually?
Yeah. Again, I've always kind of tried to just be where my feet are, but you maintain those relationships. It wasn't something that Coach and I were talking, on a weekly basis, daily basis, or anything. But we maintain, in contact as I did with Nate and Gates and the rest of the staff, and those are just guys, like Coach said, that I've been connected to and known for a long time. So it was one of the situations and places that I felt that if I got the opportunity to, my family and I would take a strong look. I'm from Kentucky. I've been in the South, a majority of my career. My wife is from Louisiana. Her whole family is there. So this is a little bit different for all of us, but we're excited about it. And throughout the process, she was on board with it as well, which is very, very important to me.
Who was instrumental to you coming up as a coach, and where you kind of gained some of your knowledge from?
Yeah, so I grew up in Kentucky, like I said, where basketball is just, it's the thing, I grew up in the eastern part of the state, played at the all-time winningest high school in the state of Kentucky. Mike Flynn was my high school coach. He was there all the way from when I was in grade school to high school. Went to his camps. He's, certainly a mentor and a great friend of mine that was at my wedding, and so we maintained a great relationship. Darren Horn, who I played for at Western Kentucky, we spoke yesterday, and he's, excited that Gates and I are together. It's kind of come full circle. He coached me. He was a GA. And then just, everybody I've worked with, everybody I worked for, still stay in contact with, and, very appreciative for everybody that's poured into me throughout my career.
What are the hallmarks of your defensive philosophy, and what kind of picture should fans expect of what you're going to bring to the table?
Yeah. So, very comfortable on that side of the ball. It's been a something that I've had to do, a lot of places. The biggest thing is just finding out what, is the best fit for here, for coach, for the staff, for our players, and then just try to build it from there, But, we've played a lot of zone everywhere I've been. This past year, I had an opportunity to work with Rodney Crawford, who was an assistant for us at South Alabama. He's got an unbelievable man-to-man background, one of the best man-to-man coaches, and we kind of, 3/4 of the year, we played a lot of man-to-man, played a lot of zone with that, so I got to learn from him, and some of the philosophies that Nate and I would talk about, in the preseason on Zooms, and just discuss basketball, some NBA trends. We implemented into, our man-to-man stuff this past year. So, again, it all comes down to, what coach is comfortable with, what's best for our players, and what gives us the best chance to win. But, like the 3/4 court pressure, like the full court pressure, like to extend the zone a little bit. And some of the reasons why zone's been successful is, like Coach said, if you get the right team with the length that keeps it out of the lane, it suffocates them a little bit. And then you don't foul. You keep your best players on the floor. They don't get a lot of paint touches. And if you can rebound out of it, make them miss first shots, you'll have a chance to be successful.
So how do you feel like your defensive philosophy, like you said, with everything you learned, do you feel like that can have an immediate impact on when you work with the guys?
Yeah. So again, it just comes down to what everybody's comfortable with. What Coach is comfortable with, what Nate is comfortable with. I know everybody on our staff. Coach Gates has got a zone background. from working at Northwestern. So it's just finding the right blend of what works, how long we stay in zone. I mean, you can go from zone to man, in the same possession, or if, you need to jump from man to zone. I mean, there's just a lot of things that you can do. But, I think the biggest thing is just instilling a mentality in the guys that, that defense travels. Sometimes shots don't always fall, and sometimes you got to believe you can win, on the road when you're not having your best offensive night.
So I was having a guy like defensively like Derek Walker returning back. How does that kind of help you from like having a player that really emphasizes defense and so?
Yeah, so I'm excited about Derek and glad he decided to come back. I think Derek's a guy that is a leader on this team, and those guys are usually your best communicators and best talkers, and having him in the middle of the zone, would be really, really instrumental. Those guys have to talk, and the zone, the back line of the zone are primarily the most important pieces in the whole deal, and just a physical presence, a guy that brings a ton of experience and a veteran guy that knows how to win at this level.
On the recruiting front, what's your strategy as a recruiter? And what types of things do you try to do to separate yourself? And then what would you say are some of your maybe target geographical regions that you really try to get?
Yeah, so I think just, as a recruiter, again, it's just like the defensive philosophy, offensive philosophy. You just have to find, what your team needs, what's best for, each specific year. I mean, there's so much turnover and so much change year to year. Managing a roster is really important, everywhere. But, obviously, in the fall, in summer and fall, you get a chance to go out and see a lot of high school kids, sign some high school kids early. And in the spring and, late till, summer school, you're trying to fill your roster with the needs. And maybe it's a late high school kid where there's a coaching change. You didn't get him the first go around, and now he's, you get him the second go around, or, this time of the year, it's heavy transfers. Everybody's focused on that. And again, working for Richie Riley, I mean, he's been a head coach for 6 years. I think he's taken like 27 transfers or something. So it's been a big part of who he was, and Richie's a mentor of mine, and it's a big part of who we were. We had 7 Division I transfers on our roster this past season at South Alabama, and we had guys from TCU, Memphis, LSU, 2 from Auburn, Texas A&M, VMI. So, again, you got to work hard. You got to turn over every rock. And it helps being at a place like this. If you can just get kids to campus and you see the facilities, I mean, you guys know it's again, part of what attracted, me here is, in recruiting, you got to have places, you got to have buildings that look like what we have here in place. And so this is a special place. You just got to work hard to get them to campus, and then everything else pretty much sells itself.
Trey McGowan has a decision to make, obviously, Trey was saying, but have you looked at him as his defensive acumen and how it might fit your playing?
Trey's he's an unbelievable athlete. He's got unbelievable feet. Has the ability to not get screened, has the really ability to pressure and bother the ball, and which is, if you can get, teams to start their point of attack, a little further. Trey's got the ability to do that, really jam the ball, and so he's he's a special defender. He's had some really, really tough assignments night in and night out in this league, as you know. You guys know better than I do, but the talent at this level in this league this past year, and most nights out, Trey had the best assignment when he was healthy and back playing. So he can really help us defensively. Trey's a very well-rounded player, and looking forward to see what happens with him in the future.
As a coach, is there an adjustment that has to be made coming from the Sun Belt to the Big Ten? Your players talk about transferring up and things like that. But is there, as a coach, are there things you have to change or adjust to?
No, I just think you just have to, like Coach said, build relationships with these guys. Get them to trust you, and make sure that they understand that there's a system in place and it works. You just have to trust it and buy in, and you have to build relationships with them. You have to do that through the film room. You have to do that through being on the floor with them and sweating. And today was a great step in that for me, and I'm excited about doing that. And again, it's going to be about what's best for Coach and everybody having a part of it. But I'm excited to learn from Nate. I'm excited to be back with Gates and his energy, and we're all going to figure this thing out together.
What's your philosophy on the balance between recruiting transfers and the four-year guys?
Yeah, and again, it's just it kind of depends on what you're losing. I think you kind of try to position yourself with with guys that, you know, your upperclassmen, if they're leaving, if you can find a young guy, if a guy has, you know, he's going to be back for 2 more years, and you don't want to try to find a guy at his position to come in and play behind him and compete against him year in and year out. But it's about balancing the roster. I mean, I don't think you want to try to sign, you know, 8 or 9 guys each year. So just trying to figure out, you know, who's in place and how many years they have left, and just kind of go from there.
Coach Weber talked about like that, bringing that size to the positions. So is that kind of something you've been targeting so far as well as recruiting, just guys with size at each position?
Yeah, you know, I think at this level, you know, there's unbelievable, you know, positional size each night out in the Big Ten, and so just having to find those guys, man, whether it's, you know, offensively, defensively, obviously, you know, the length will help defensively, you know, rebounding and all that, and then just, you know, the way Coach wants to play, having guys get a piece of the paint, get those high percentage shots at the rim, you know, size helps with that as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think the bigger you can be, you know, will definitely help a lot of time in most cases, but again, it'll just be trying to, you know, find, you know, the right pieces and the right fits for everything.
What did you learn from the experience you went through at Southern Miss and Tennessee and fallout from all that?
Yeah, you know, you know, the one thing I'll say about it, man, is, you know, it's well documented, everything that happened. The one thing I took from it is, you know, my relationships on every campus that I've been at, you know, have allowed me to get back. You know, this is the 3rd time I've been hired since then. And you know, I think the way you treat people on a day-to-day basis, who you're with in those offices, you know, across campus, not just in the basketball. You know, myself, my family, we're department people. You know, we're for everywhere we've ever been. South Alabama, we'd go to women's games, we'd go to baseball games, softball games. You know, and so my family's around campus a lot. They're at the gym, you know, and so the relationships I think that you take away from everywhere you are is what allows you to have your next opportunities and moving forward. So really proud of, you know, the relationships I maintain and the people that I got to know every place I've ever been. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.